Chase credit cards are some of the absolute best credit cards out there, with cashback credit cards that can get you literally thousands of dollars in cashback and top-tier travel credit cards. So today I'm ranking every major Chase credit card so that you know which ones are the best and which ones you should avoid. Starting off with a card that could potentially earn over $500 in cashback in the first year, and that is the Chase Freedom Flex. This card earns 5% back on rotating quarterly categories every year. The categories change each quarter but can range from things like Amazon, Walmart, PayPal, home improvement stores, gas stations, grocery stores, and many more. And you can earn 5% back on up to $1,500 in spend. And it has a welcome bonus worth $200 after spending $500 in the first 3 months of holding the card. That means if you were to max out the welcome bonus and these 5% earning categories, you'll earn at least $500 in cash back. And the points you earn with this card can be combined with other Chase travel credit cards for even greater value. You also earn 3% back on dining and drugstores and 1% back on everything else, which makes it better than other rotating quarterly category cards. And it's definitely A tier in my opinion. But if rotating quarterly categories isn't your thing, another great card with easy to manage categories and the same exact welcome offer is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. This card earns an unlimited 1.5% back on everything, as well as 3% back on dining and drugstores. This makes it the ideal catch-all credit card with Chase, since you'll be earning a minimum of 1.5% back on everything. Although there are good cards from other issuers that earn 2x on everything, none of them usually have as good of a welcome bonus, and they don't also have the 3% earning category on dining and drugstores. When combined with other Chase cards, the points you earn with this card also take on greater value, and because of that, I'll put this card solidly into A tier. However, I probably wouldn't argue too much if you wanted to put it down in B tier. We have one of the most popular credit cards out there that allows you to transfer your points to hotel and airline travel partners for an average value of 2 cents per point. We're talking about the Chase Sapphire Preferred, that for a $95 annual fee, not only allows you to transfer its points to travel partners, but the points from all other Chase Ultimate Rewards earning cards. When this is combined with Chase Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited, this creates the Chase Trifecta, which in my opinion is probably the most powerful credit card combination that you can get, since transferring Chase points can easily double the value you get on all of these credit cards. The earning categories on the Sapphire Preferred are 3x on dining, online grocery, and select streaming, 2x on travel, and 1x on everything else. And it has a nice welcome bonus of 60,000 points after you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months, which I would value at around $1,200 in travel. Although some of the features on this card are a little bit underwhelming, I'd have a hard time not putting this card in A tier, since everything from travel protections to better point redemption options, a $50 annual hotel credit, and everything I mentioned before are all really fantastic. I personally love this card, and I did a full review on it if you want to check it out and learn more. There's nothing overpowered about it, so I don't think it quite belongs in S tier. However, there is an S tier Chase credit card that is not publicly available, but you can still get it in a roundabout way. And the value it offers despite a $450 annual fee is pretty insane. The Chase Ritz-Carlton card comes with an 85,000 point free night certificate with Marriott every year. And alone, that's probably worth around $700 in value. But you'll also get a $300 airline incidental credit, Marriott Gold status, and unlimited priority pass lounge access for you and an unlimited number of guests. Airport lounge access is a way to get free meals and a way better experience at the airport. And normally this would cost $469 if you were to buy it directly from the Priority Pass website. And on top of those great airport lounges, you'll have access to Priority Pass restaurants for airports that have Priority Pass restaurants. And one other overpowered feature on this card is that any authorized users you add to this card get that same Priority Pass lounge access, including Priority Pass restaurants and unlimited guests, and it doesn't cost anything to add authorized users. Putting a value on just the most tangible features on this card, it can easily be worth over $1,500 in value, which in my opinion definitely puts it into S tier. But the way you'll need to get this card is to hold a personal Chase Marriott card for at least 1 year and then call Chase to product change it and upgrade it into a Chase Ritz-Carlton card. So for instance, you could apply for the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless with Chase, which by the way has an excellent welcome bonus. And then after the first year, you can just call Chase and upgrade to the Chase Ritz-Carlton card. Moving on to another high annual fee Chase card with a lot of benefits, we have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It has the same access to Chase travel partners like the Sapphire Preferred does, but it also comes with Priority Pass airport lounge access, including Priority Pass restaurants, for you and up to 2 guests. If you have a Priority Pass restaurant at your airport, I might consider this to be an S tier card. But for the average person who doesn't, it might only be A tier or maybe even B tier. It comes with a very flexible $300 travel credit and an okay welcome bonus for a $550 annual fee card, which is 60,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. But compared to the Chase Ritz-Carlton card, I think it takes more work to justify a higher annual fee, and it comes with worse Priority Pass airport lounge access, since you won't get an unlimited number of guests, and authorized users aren't free. And for that reason, I'll put the card into A tier. It definitely has some other great features like travel protections, the ability to redeem points for 1.5 cents per point through the Chase travel portal, as well as some grocery delivery credits, but I don't think that quite puts it into top tier for most people. All right, moving on to some of these high tier cards, down to some more lower tier cards with Chase, we have the Disney cards. Starting off with the Chase Disney Visa card, it earns 1% back in Disney rewards dollars on everything, gets you 10% off at Disney.com, Disney World, and Disneyland, and a $150 statement credit after spending $500 on the card in the first 3 months. If you love earning the least amount of cash back possible for your spend at a very specific retailer, then I highly recommend you get the Disney Visa card. But personally, I'm going to put this card into D tier because I think literally any other Chase cashback or points earning card is better than this one. Very similar, we have the Disney Premier Visa, which allows you to pay a $50 annual fee for the privilege of not earning a flexible points currency. You can get a $300 statement credit after spending $1,000 in the first 3 months, which isn't too bad, and you'll earn 5% back in Disney dollars on Disney streaming services, 2% back in Disney dollars at gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. But I'd just rather get any other flexible points currency card that earns 2% back on everything, and I wouldn't use a Chase 524 slot for this card. And for that reason, we'll put this card firmly into D tier. Moving on to another card that barely escapes D tier in my opinion, we have a card that earns 3x Marriott points at Marriott hotels and 2x on everything else, and that is the Marriott Bonvoy Bull. Like all the other hotel credit cards that I'll be ranking in this video, this card earns hotel points that can only be used at its own brand. And because this card only earns Marriott points, which are typically valued at about 0.8 cents per point, I'm pretty tempted to put this card into D tier. However, you can get 30,000 Marriott points after spending $1,000 on the card in the first 3 months, which is around $240 in value at Marriott hotels. And currently you can get 15 Elite Night credits towards status with Marriott every year. So for that reason, I'll put this card into C tier since there are some situations where that could be useful. But keep in mind, it looks like this card's benefits will be revamped, and this will no longer be the case in July of 2024. Looking at our next Marriott credit card that has a $95 annual fee and an anniversary free night certificate worth up to 35,000 Marriott points, plus a massive welcome bonus, we have the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless. Currently, this card has a bonus of earning 5 free night certificates worth up to 50,000 points each after spending $5,000 on the card in the first 3 months. And that could be worth around $2,000 or more, depending on how you use them, but just keep in mind these certificates do expire after 1 year of receiving them. With that bonus alone, it's pretty tempting to put this card into S tier, and I think among hotel credit cards, it could definitely be an S tier card. But because this card earns Marriott points and not a flexible points currency, and the earning multipliers are just okay, I think it belongs more towards A tier for frequent travelers and B tier for occasional travelers. There's a lot of other Chase credit cards that I would recommend prioritizing first, so I don't think you should give this one of your top 524 slots. For those of you who aren't familiar with Chase 524, Chase has an unofficial approval rule that says they will not approve you for a new credit card if you've been approved for 5 or more cards from any issuers in the last 24 months. And this means you need to be pretty strategic with the Chase credit cards you choose. The Boundless will get you some other nice benefits towards status with Marriott, and I did do a full review if you want to check that out. But for most people, I think this card belongs in B tier. Our last Marriott card to rank is the Marriott Bonvoy Bountiful, which comes with an 85,000 point welcome offer after spending $4,000 on the card in the first 3 months. You don't get a free night certificate with this card unless you spend $15,000 on the card in a calendar year, and for a $250 annual fee, that seems pretty crazy to me. You do get Marriott Gold status, 15 Elite Night credits towards status with Marriott every year, and pretty much the same earning multipliers as the Bonvoy Boundless card. Marriott Gold status is pretty good, but I can't imagine a situation where I'd get this card over the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless. So for that reason, I'll put this card into C tier. Let's move on to looking at some airline cards, and we'll rank 3 cards that are from different airlines, but are all very similar. Although these cards are from different airlines, they share the same points currency called Avios, and they are the British Airways, Aer Lingus, and Iberia credit cards. All 3 of these cards have the same bonus of 75,000 Avios after spending $5,000 on the card in the first 3 months, which I would value at around $1,100 in flights. Each card has a $95 annual fee and the ability to earn some sort of discount or companion ticket after spending $30,000 in a year, which isn't too exciting unless you're a high spender. And the British Airways card does offer up to $600 in statement credits towards taxes and fees for flights to London, but that's pretty specific specific, and I would probably put all 3 of these cards into C tier since there are circumstances where it might be useful, but for the majority of people, that's just a little too specific. Looking at 3 more of my absolute favorite airline cards, and possibly some of the best value that Chase has to offer you. All 3 of these cards have an excellent welcome offer currently at the time of filming, but unfortunately probably won't be available by the time you're watching. And that is with the personal Southwest credit cards. I rank all 3 of these credit cards pretty highly because their points currency is pretty valuable at around 1.4 to 1.7 cents per point, and they'll get you pretty close to earning a companion pass with Southwest. Southwest Companion Pass is the best travel perk of any airline, and it gives you a free ticket for a companion anytime you fly as long as there's an open seat. It's basically a buy one get one free deal that you can use an unlimited number of times with Southwest. The only minor catch is that you do pay the taxes and fees one way, which is $5.60. The current bonus will get you companion pass for a year, as well as 30,000 points after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months of holding the card. But unfortunately, I don't know what that will change to by the time you're watching this video. These are great Chase cards I would strongly consider, and we'll do a deep dive into each, starting with the $69 annual fee Southwest Plus card. Every anniversary year you hold this card, you'll get 3,000 Southwest points, which I'd value at around $42, 2 early bird check-ins valued somewhere between $30 and $50 together, and 10,000 companion pass qualifying points. So if you get 135,000 points with Southwest in a year, you get Southwest Companion Pass, or basically buy one get one free flights for up to 2 years. Again, it's probably the most valuable perk you can get with an airline, and any one of these personal Southwest cards will give you 10,000 qualifying points towards earning Companion Pass. And that means you only need to earn 125,000 Southwest points in a calendar year in order to earn Southwest Companion Pass. There are some more specifics on Southwest Companion Pass, and I did do a full review on that if you want to check out that video, which I'll link to above. The Southwest Plus earns 2 points per dollar on a bunch of categories, including Southwest purchases, and 1x on everything else. So nothing too exciting, and it does have a $69 annual fee. It's pretty easy value for a low annual fee, and it almost always comes with a great welcome offer, so I'll put this card into A tier. If the welcome bonus was more average or below average, I'd probably drop this card into B tier, but it's not hard to justify holding this card. And it's the lowest annual fee option to earn tier qualifying points towards Companion Pass, both with a bonus which can be upwards of 75,000 points and the 10,000 qualifying points. Moving on to the $99 annual fee Southwest Premier card. It's going to give you 6,000 points every year, valued at around $84, 2 early bird check-ins valued somewhere between $30 and $50 together, and the ability to earn 3 rapid reward points per dollar on Southwest purchases, as well as a bunch of other 2x categories, which I'll put up on screen. On paper, this card makes a lot of sense, but I really have a hard time recommending it to anybody, because I'd either go with the lower annual fee option with very similar benefits, or the higher annual fee option, which comes with a lot more benefits and a lot more upside. The 3 personal cards are mutually exclusive, so you can only pick one, and I don't see any advantages of this over the others, so I'll put this card into C tier. But on paper, you probably could argue for B tier or even A tier. The Southwest Priority is the highest annual fee card at $149, and it's probably the most interesting personal Southwest card. You get 7,500 points every year, valued at around $105, a $75 Southwest annual travel credit, and 4 upgraded boardings each year, valued between $120 to $360 total. And it has the same earning categories as the $99 Southwest Premier. Between all the benefits, which are very easy to use with Southwest, I'd say you can get $300 in value, but it could definitely be more. For a card to double its annual fee in benefits is pretty awesome, and it's an S tier in my opinion. I don't want to spend too much more time on Southwest credit cards, but another S tier card in my opinion is the Southwest Performance Business card. It does have a $199 annual fee, but a lot of benefits, and it also earns 4x on Southwest purchases. You do get 9,000 Southwest points every year, valued around $126, 4 upgraded boardings per year, up to $360 in value, 365 in-flight Wi-Fi credits every year, which can be very valuable depending on how much you fly. But for me last year, it saved me around $112 in Wi-Fi credits, a $100 global entry or TSA pre-check credit, $500 in fee credits towards transferring points to other Southwest members. Southwest usually charges around 1 cent per point to transfer points to other people, but this will get you around 50,000 points in free transfers a year. If you have a player 2 you fly with, for instance, your companion, this can be very valuable, and it saved me around $200 last year. But if you don't fly often with anyone else, then this probably won't be so valuable to you. So the easily tangible credits can cover this annual fee no problem, but perks like the 365 Wi-Fi credits every year can add a ton of upside to this card. Plus, there's almost always a massive welcome offer of 80,000 points after spending $5,000 on the card in the first 3 months. On top of earning a bunch of Southwest points, that will get you within about 50,000 points of earning Southwest Companion Pass. This is an S tier card in my opinion, and it definitely doesn't get the attention it deserves. Now, there is a $99 annual fee Southwest Business card that's basically the same as the $99 annual fee Southwest Personal card, except it does give you $500 towards points transfers, but I'd still put it into C tier since you would have to pass up on an S tier card in order to get it. And by the way, you can get a personal and business Southwest credit card. Now, we still have some more of my favorite Chase credit cards to rank, but really quick, if any of these cards do make sense for you and you would like to support my channel, I will have links down in the description below. Using those links helps support my channel and makes it possible for me to create this content. And seriously, thank you so much to all of you who do use my links. All right, now for a quick lightning round on some cards that I don't want to spend too much time on, and then we'll move on to some of my absolute favorite cards and possibly my most controversial opinion on this list. First is the DoorDash card, which I'll place into C tier because although it does have no annual fee, there's not a lot of upside unless you really like to use DoorDash a lot. But even then, I still don't think you'd get more value than many other Chase credit cards. The Instacart card is in the same boat for me. I'd put it into C tier. Probably a great card in a vacuum, especially if you use Instacart a lot, but I think you could get significantly more value from other Chase credit cards. The Chase Slate Edge has 2 situations where it might actually be valuable for you. First is if you're new to Chase and credit in general, and you just want to get approved with them, get your foot in the door and start building some credit. You can product change this card into one of the Freedom cards, for example, but unfortunately you might miss out on those bonuses. And since this doesn't earn anything in points or cashback, I really don't love that option. The second way this card might be higher tier is for balance transfers. It's a great balance transfer card. It might be A tier or even S tier if you want a balance transfer card and you want to start building a relationship with Chase. But since it comes with no benefits for the everyday person, I will put it down into C tier. It's not completely useless, but it's very situational. The Amazon Visa can get you a $50 Amazon gift card for getting approved, and it earns 3x at Amazon. Points can only be used at Amazon, and I'd rather have a flexible points currency card as well as a higher welcome offer. So for that reason, I'll put this card down into D tier. The Amazon Prime Visa currently gets you a $100 Amazon gift card for getting approved, and it earns 5x at Amazon, but you do need to have an Amazon Prime membership in order to get approved. I'd still rather use a flexible points currency card like the Chase Freedom Flex, which sometimes earns 5% back at Amazon, and your Amazon Prime membership kind of serves as an annual fee. But earning 5x anywhere is pretty good, and Amazon is so popular that it's really pretty valuable, and so I'd put this card into B tier. If you shop at Amazon a lot, then maybe it's A tier, but I'd say for the average person, you can get a lot more value with other Chase credit cards, and I think B tier is fair. All right, now for probably one of my most controversial opinions on this list. I know some people are going to disagree, and that's okay, but that is with the Inc. Business Cash card. The card has no annual fee, earns 5% back on office supply stores, internet, cable, and phone services on up to $25,000 in spend per year, 2x Chase points on gas stations and restaurants on up to a combined $25,000 in spend per year, and 1x on everything else. On its own, that's pretty good since you can buy gift cards from office supply stores like Staples and earn 5%. But where this card really shines, I think, is with its welcome offer of 75,000 Chase points after spending $6,000 on the card in the first 3 months. This is an insane amount of Chase points for no annual fee, and that's $750 in cashback or $1,500 in travel if you transfer your points to Chase travel partners. And in general, Chase is okay with opening multiple of these cards since they have no rules blocking you from getting multiple welcome bonuses in any sort of time period. I can't see how this card doesn't belong in S tier if you can get it. And keep in mind, referring this card to a player too will get you 40,000 Chase points each time. The Inc. Business Unlimited has an identical welcome offer and no annual fee, but it earns an unlimited 1.5% back on everything. I'm tempted to put this card into S tier as well, but I do have to admit the earning category is pretty disappointing since you can get the same or better with the Chase Freedom Unlimited. So I think it's fair to put this card into A tier, keeping in mind that the welcome bonus and referral bonus is insanely good. The Inc. Business Preferred is actually a really good Chase credit card as well that often gets overlooked. And it acts as a replacement to the Chase Sapphire Preferred since it allows you to transfer points to Chase travel partners. Plus it earns 3x on travel like the much higher annual fee Chase Sapphire Reserve, but it comes in at just a $95 annual fee. It has a really big bonus, but a high spending requirement to meet that bonus. So for that reason, I'll put this card into A tier. The Inc. Business Premier is a card that unfortunately looks a lot better than it is, and I think it catches a lot of people. I think at best it belongs in C tier for a number of reasons. First is that it has a $195 annual fee, but it earns 2% back on everything, meaning you'll need to spend at least $10,000 on this card before it even starts breaking even and earning you anything. There's lots of other 2x earning cards that would be better alternatives for that reason. Second is that the welcome offer is slightly worse than the lower annual fee Chase Inc. Business Preferred. And third is that none of the points you earn on this card can be transferred to other Chase travel cards for even greater value. So I think this card only works for high spenders who want cash back and not greater travel value. Okay, now I want to quickly rank the United and Aeroplan cards so that I can move on to my favorite hotel credit cards. First up is the United Gateway card. There's not an annual fee, but also not a whole lot of upside here. If you could get any United card, I probably wouldn't get this card since the 2x earning categories are quite limited and there's just not much else going on. The welcome bonus probably deserves a little more credit than I'm giving it, since you can get 30,000 United points after spending $1,000 on the card in the first 3 months. Now, that's probably worth around $450 in United flights. But I'd still put this card into C tier since you could get a lot better value from other Chase United cards like the United Quest. The United Quest comes in at a $250 annual fee, but quite a bit of upside. It has decent earning categories, nothing to get too excited about, up to 10,000 United miles back on award flights every anniversary year. So basically every anniversary year, the first 2 times you fly using United miles, you'll get 5,000 United miles back each time. You'll also get a $125 United credit and free first and second checked bags for you and a companion. This checked bag perk can be very valuable if you fly United a lot and could easily save you hundreds of dollars with just 1 round trip flight. For those reasons, I think this card has the potential to be A tier, but I think you need to fly United at least 2 times a year to make it worth it. At the time of filming, this card has an elevated welcome offer, but that might not be the case by the time you're watching this. Moving on to the United Club card, it comes with a hefty $525 annual fee and a United Club membership worth around $650 in value. I think the entire decision around this card is whether you want access to United Club locations, which are airport lounges that give you free food, drinks, and a nice place to work in the airport. But given that there are bigger airport lounge networks from cards with higher earn rates that get flexible points currencies, I would probably put this card into C tier. Basically, if you love United, you'll think this card is pretty decent, and for non-United flyers, it doesn't make any sense. The United Club Business card is a slightly better alternative since it has just a $450 annual fee and United Club access, so I'd put that card into B tier. Now, looking at the United Business and the United Explorer, which are both cards in the $95 annual fee range, are both pretty solid cards for United flyers since they come with 2 United Club passes, as well as free first check bags. And at the time of filming, the United Business has a pretty awesome welcome bonus of 100,000 United miles after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months. And with that elevated welcome offer, I put this card into A tier, but normally I think both of these cards belong solidly in B tier. The Chase Aeroplan card also belongs in B tier in my opinion. Since its earning categories aren't super special, it comes with a $95 annual fee and it doesn't have a flexible points currency. However, it does have a decent welcome bonus of 60,000 Aeroplan miles after spending $3,000 in the first 3 months. And the Air Canada miles that you earn on this card can be quite valuable, more than many other airlines, since Air Canada allows you to book with miles on many partner airlines, often for a better deal. But I'd still only recommend this card if you have a specific trip in mind with those miles. Okay, moving on to some of our final Chase credit cards. We have what I think are some of the best hotel credit cards you can get. First up, we have the IHG Premier, which comes with so many benefits for just a $95 annual fee. Like IHG Platinum status, which is IHG's top tier status, which will get you room upgrades, late checkout, a welcome amenity at check-in, and more. You also get an anniversary free night certificate worth up to 40,000 IHG points, which I would value at around $200 in IHG hotel stays. And the card comes with a very special perk, which is a 4th night free on award stays. So anytime you book a 4 consecutive night stay with points, you get the 4th night for free. The business version of this card, the IHG Premier Business, has basically the same benefits, just slightly different earning categories, and the welcome bonuses differ a little bit. For hotel credit cards, they both give you a surprisingly good amount of perks, and I personally chose the IHG Premier Business when it had about a 165,000 point bonus. Both are excellent cards that I would put into A tier, and if you're trying to decide which one, I would just go with whichever card has the higher welcome offer. And I did do a full review on these cards if you want to check it out and learn more. Now, last but not least, we have cards from my absolute favorite hotel brand with probably the most valuable points currency in the whole travel space. Starting off with the World of Hyatt credit card, which I will put into D tier. Just kidding, but I'm actually tempted to put the World of Hyatt Business credit card down into D tier because it comes with a $199 annual fee, but no free night award. What's up with that, Hyatt? The World of Hyatt Business card earns 2 points per dollar on quite a few decent spending categories, and since Hyatt points are so valuable, averaging for me around 2 cents per point. This is quite good. It also gives you the ability to earn 5 Elite Night credits towards status with Hyatt every time you spend $10,000 in a year on the card. And it comes with a great welcome bonus, which could be worth $1,200 in Hyatt hotel stays. But it will be hard for most people to get value from this card besides status, so it's really only valuable for high spenders. So for that reason, I'll put this card down into C tier. But last up, and one of my favorite Chase credit cards, is the World of Hyatt credit card. This is definitely one of the most underrated credit cards out there, especially among hotel brands. And I did do a full review on the card if you want to check it out and learn more. But people tend to undervalue this card because the quantity of points that you're earning with it are less than other hotel credit cards. And that's because the points are literally 2 to 4 times more valuable than other hotel points currencies. I value Hyatt points at 2 cents per point, and that means the welcome offer from this card currently could be worth $700 to $1,300 in value. The card does give you Discover status with Hyatt, which is nothing to get too excited about, but it also gives you 5 Elite Night credits every year just for holding the card. And that will help you earn status with Hyatt much quicker, which by the way can be the most valuable hotel status you can get. You'll earn a total of 9 points per dollar spent at Hyatt hotels for a whopping return of about 18% back on your spend. One of the best perks with the World of Hyatt credit card is that you get a category 1 to 4 free night certificate every year for holding this card. That could be worth $200 or more in value, and that will very easily offset the annual fee. A lot of people who have Chase credit cards that like to redeem points for travel will end up transferring their points over to the World of Hyatt. So I think this card makes a lot of sense to have if you're going to do that. And it definitely holds up its own against the other hotel credit cards. And for that reason, I'll put it solidly into A tier. All right, I think that's every major publicly available Chase credit card. I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. Let me know if there are cards that you would like me to do a deep dive into. And thank you so much for watching.